and also Facebook channel. Okay, so we will make sure that all your questions are answered. Please make sure that you post all your questions. Okay, so Dr. Hussam is available. Let him set up his laptop and speaker. Okay, Dr. Hussam, once you are,
yes.
able to, yeah. So Dr. Hussam, I was just introducing about you to the audience. Okay, so Dr. Hussam brings a rich experience in strategy planning, strategy execution, and overall strategy transformation. So he successfully transformed many organizations across the globe. Okay, so he is attending from I think he's at, I don't know, you are attending from Morocco or France. You're a global man. Okay, Dr. Hassan, Dr. Hussam, please take up your presentation and then brief about your insights.
Okay. Hi, thank you very much. I'm just trying to get this, my presentation on. 1 second.
Yeah, it is visible, Dr. Hussam, please.
No, it's not this one. Not this one. 1 second. Sorry, because I'm not used to this WebEx thing,
Take it up.
Oh, we're not losing time. I have to upload the file to the for presentation, or
no, you directly share it from your screen. Okay, you have a share button on the bottom. Just click on it and share it. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm clicking on that PowerPoint. I have like many files open, so I'll close them first. And then go back. Okay.
Yeah, we can see discipline and planning. That's what.
Yes. Now I'll go to start. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Or good evening. I don't know where you are, but good morning and good evening to everyone. As Mr. Doctor, I really want to thank first Mr. Qadir and for his strategy for this interesting meeting, online. And I will be trying to today to highlight the importance of people and executing strategies through something we call competencies, as I said. So our purpose here is today is talk about the engagement of people. So as Mr. Kader, told you about myself, but I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not trying to introduce myself but as something, but I just wanted you to know that actually I'm an entrepreneur, so who worked like in the entrepreneurship in the business world in the 5 continents for almost like 25 years. Strategic advisor by education and by practice. Actually, I'm a certified strategist, so I hold lots of certifications. So my background is not coming only from the practical world, it's coming also from the professional certifications that I got in terms of strategic planning, psychometrics, like strategic planning, many different fields like system thinking, balanced scorecard, blue ocean strategy, many others, you know. So I'm just trying to introduce this because my talk today is not backed up by my, you know, my certification experience, but also my certifications, but also it's coming from the practical world. I applied over like 60 strategic plans for large, medium size, and a little bit small organizations. I lecture and read and write in 3 languages: Arabic, English, and French. And by the way, today I'm in Morocco. Okay, I'm between France, Morocco, and Spain nowadays. So this is just a little bit of introduction about myself. I would like to start with this phrase that was, you know, said by Denzel Washington. You know, dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointment. On the road to achieve your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency, because without commitment, you will never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish. Actually, I like this phrase because it speaks about 2 very important things in strategic execution, which is discipline and consistency. All right. So this discipline, you know, is a very, very important word that we lost the sense of it, as a matter of fact. So in terms of strategic execution, we're talking about discipline in thinking, discipline in leadership, discipline in performance. So it's very, very important. The discipline should be there in our strategic execution. If you hear about this tale of the elephant and the 6 blind men, I just want to, you know, borrow some wisdom out of this. So, like, if you know the story that 6 blind men went to the forest and they were introduced to an elephant, and they were asked to know without seeing, because they're blind, what is this object? So the one who held the back of the elephant, he said, "This is a wall." The other one, when he handles the leg of the elephant, he said, "This is a column." And the other one who caught the tail of the elephant, he said, "It's a snake." And this is who held the trunk, actually. And the other one who held the tail, he said, "This is a fan." And the one who held the horn, he said, "A spear," and a rope. So everyone now in the industry, we are surrounded with a lot of noise. You see, the people who learn about, I'm talking about now, for example, the world of strategic planning. Who knows about blue ocean strategy? They said, the only way in planning is blue ocean strategy. The people who handles the what we call the balance scorecard, they say it's only balance scorecard, and so on and so forth. So everybody is describing a wall or column or a snake or a fan or a spear, or this is not actually the right. I believe this is the right thing, because we have to think about something called holism. Holism in thinking is the natural way and the right way of thinking. So why thinking? Because you see, we have so many styles of thinking: creative, decision making, whatever. But why thinking? Because everything starts with our thinking, and how we think is how we are. That's the importance of thinking. Our behavior, our actions are coming from our thinking. So if we talk about the strategic puzzle, what we call the strategic management, then we're talking about 4 different things. We're talking about strategic thinking, strategic planning, strategic execution, and strategic leadership. So we're not talking about only thinking. Okay, thinking starts with thinking, then you go to planning, then you go to strategic execution, then to the leadership, and then you go back, and then you go back in a circle. So there is no line line process here. There is a circular process that continuously goes on. So to be able to resolve this puzzle, you have to think about these 4 strategic components. By the way, these strategic components are the one approved by the International Association of Planning, the Planning Association, based in the United States and America, but all over the world, and it has certifications. Whatever I'm talking today, it has the background of this, book of knowledge of the Association of Strategic Planning. So these 4 components are making the strategic puzzle, and we have to think about them as one important bulk. Okay. Even the Strategic Association, International Association of Strategy, Strategic Planning, they indicated in their book of knowledge that started in 2015, 10 attributes of any strategic management. You see, so we have these things established. So we don't have to, keep saying things that are not relevant, or because some of the big organizations or big names who claims that they are big consultants, they can say things and they can destroy the whole world. So the attributes of any successful strategic management system, there are 10 attributes. I will highlight these things to you very quickly. They have to be all based on system approach. I will speak about systems. Just to let you know, our respectable audience, that we are not talking directly about the importance of people. We have to fix first our way of thinking, okay, and our discipline in thinking and planning and execution to be able to reach the people engagement. So the system approach is one. Change management and leadership development is the other. Performance information that this strategic management system assures. External and internal environment study, because this is actually a need. All the time it's been overlooked. We have to apply strategic initiatives. Every successful strategic management system should have a supporting toolkit. We have to align strategy and culture, and this is where I highlight it. The base of this presentation is highlighting this alignment between strategy and culture, and then align the organization around strategy, be simple to administer, continuous long-term improvement. So we have to keep improving our strategy, okay, and reviewing it. So these 10 attributes, I advise you to look at them and try to judge any system or program with these 10 best practice attributes of the strategic management. When organization starts with the strategic planning, they stand on the line between success and failure. You see, most organizations, when they are puzzled and they don't know where to go, they think about strategic planning. But they face this saying that is all over the places, and it was established by Harvard Business Review. They said business strategies often fail. This is a well-known by now. According to studies, some 60 to 90% of strategic plans never fully launch. I just want to ask everyone if they agree about that or not. Qadir, can you launch the first poll, please? So okay, so I'm seeing that yes, they agree. Okay, fine. Okay, let's talk about this at the end of the this is actually from the ground. Okay, and most of the people, they agree about this statement. But when you are facing the strategic planning solution for your organization, and you are faced with this, so what to do? You say, no, I don't want to go to the strategic planning. I don't want to resolve my problems. Or you still go to strategic planning while you know that 60 to 90% of strategic plans never fully launch. So what to do? Is this gonna be a loss in investment, waste of time, or what? It's time to discipline. And you see, we always tell people, tell our kids to be disciplined, but actually we are the ones who need to be disciplined. Disciplined in thinking, disciplined in planning, disciplined in actions, and disciplined in leadership. Strategic management is a cycle, as we said. It has strategic thinking, strategic planning, strategic execution, strategic leadership, and all based on systems approach. And the feedback goes in and out between these components. So system approach is the base for the discipline and thinking and planning and actions and leadership. So before we jump to judgment, then we have to start discipline our thinking, planning, actions, and leadership. Remember the word holism. We have to think about holism all the time. This is a question that I always ask people when I start any general training about strategic planning or strategic management, or even when I launch the workshops. Why do we need strategic planning or a strategy? Why the organization needs a strategic planning effort, or they need a strategy? So just let me hear why. Just give me one word or two words about an answer for this, if you don't mind. Can you just give me some of your thoughts? This is a fundamental question. Why do we need strategic planning? Okay. 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 All right. Look, most of the answers that I ever receive from people that we need more profitability, we need to be better, we need to accomplish, things, we need to have a better way of success in business or whatever. So if you look at these things, all the answers that you can receive from the planning or strategy is about transformation, is about change. Change is in the heart of any strategic planning or a strategy. So if you cannot achieve change, then you cannot actually launch or execute strategies, because it's everybody talks about going from one situation to the other. That's why here we're talking about change. Okay, so to be able to change, we have to change our way of thinking. So we have to go to the holism way of thinking or systems way of thinking. We'll talk about this. So when we talk about holism, we're talking about we have to take a helicopter view, go out up there like 4,000 feet above the ground and see the whole situation, and then work on the enterprise, and then go down after you work on the enterprise. You go down to work in the enterprise, and then you have to check on the enterprise and then go on a cycle. So when you work on the enterprise, with the helicopter view, you have a clear outcomes and goals, which you include in your strategy. And then when you work in the enterprise, you work on all the systems that make your goals and outcomes achievable. And then when you execute, then you evaluate your relations to output and outcomes and give the feedback and start on and on. So this is the holism. You see, outside, inside, outside again, holism. So you have to analyze any enterprise within its environment all the time. Okay. So we have a continuous feedback and assessment update. So these two words are very important to differentiate. And I think One of them is very famous, and the other one is not famous, which is systemic, and the other one is systematic. Systematic is the most famous because we are actually living in a linear world. Everybody is teaching us to think systematically, but they don't teach us to think systemically. Okay, and actually the systems approach are systemic. They are not systematic, unfortunately. Maybe this is a little bit of shocking to a lot of people of you, but actually we shouldn't be systematic. We have to be systemic. So if we talk about systems here, then we talk about about what? What are systems? I always ask people systems. They said, oh, law, this and that, but the systems as per this general system theory that was established between 1940 and 1970, it's a set of components that work together for the overall objective of the whole. So these are the systems. See, just always keep this in your mind. Set of components work together with the overall objective of the whole. Okay, this was established by by Ludwig von Bertalanffy in 1954 in the general system theory. Okay, and he said actually in a way or another that the purpose behind his theory was that this saying actually in one way or another we're forced to deal with complexities with wholes or systems in all field of knowledge. This implies a basic reorientation in a scientific thinking. So we have to reorient our way of thinking to be able to think properly and achieve things properly. Okay, Dr. Carl Lewin said there is nothing more practical than a good theory. Okay. So organizations are open systems. Open, then there's something closed. Everything in the world, living is an open system. Organizations are open system. Humans are open system. The only closed system in the world is the amoeba, which is the single-celled creature. But others, they are open systems. Why we call them open? Because they are open to their environment. They take from the environment, they give to the environment. That's why we call them open systems. So if we talk about open systems, then we talk about just 4 concepts of open systems on Earth. So we have 8 levels of open system, 12 natural ways of living systems on Earth, the input and output model, and the natural cycles of life. Levels of open system, we have 8 levels. As you can see, they are like a pyramid hierarchy. So we have cells, organs, individuals, whatever, and then we have only 3 levels in the organizations, which are individuals, teams, and the organization itself, and controlled by 6 competencies: enhancing self-mastery based on the individuals, building the interpersonal individual to individual, facilitating empowered teams, collaborating across functions, integrating organizational outcomes, creating strategical alliance. I will not speak about everything because this will take a lot of time. Actually, we're running out of time, but these are the 12 natural laws of open systems. So we have 6 that controls the whole system and 6 that will control the inner parts of these systems, you see? And then the most important thing is how the systems think. Okay, systems think systemically. All right, so I have to stop talking about this kind of creative thinking, whatever strategy, this creative thinking, analogical system thinking, whatever. Like Einstein said, any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. The how systems think, they start with the future. Okay, the outputs, the outcomes, as I said before, the outside, and then they establish the feedback loop to know that they are on the right way, and then they go to the today, the current situation. You see, most of the strategic applications, they go first with today, and they start analyzing the SWOT analysis, whatever, before even talking about the future. This is wrong. They have to start with the future. They have to dream first, and then see what will make them, what will prevent them from achieving this dream. And then they create the system for the throughputs, and then they reach, and they keep looking at the environment. This is very simple way of thinking. You can learn it in 5 minutes, and you can start applying it instead of spending years just to learn how to think creatively and how to think logically, and so on and so forth. Very simple. This is the natural way of thinking. I'll present you a video that actually that I created about systems thinking, and okay. So I hope that you guys see how we think systemically every day, naturally. Okay. Mr. Qadir, how we are doing with the time?
Yeah. All
Okay.
good, all good. We have another 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I just want to. So we're talking about five steps with five natural or universal questions. We start first with the end in mind. Where do you want to go to be? And then you establish the feedback, how you will know that you will get there. And then we'll start with the input, which is today, the components of today, where we are now, where are we now? And then we establish a throughput system that can take us from C to A. And then we have always to watch the environment, what will be changing always around us in the environment. And then that will affect our achievement. So if you ride a car, it's the same. It's very natural way. I don't know how they let us think differently, and they convince us that this is the right way of thinking. Like you have to think logically. You have to think that. You have to think. Actually, what they say, logic is not logic at all, because it's not actually natural and it's not universal. Okay, so we're getting out of ourselves. So to be able to go back and discipline our thinking, instead of thinking about parts and activities, we have to think holistically, or holism. Instead of being closed in thinking, we have to have an open way of thinking, like sharing, taking ideas of others, participative, planning, and so on and so forth. Instead of thinking or working fragmented or separate, you have to integrate and collaborate. You have to be integrative and collaborative. Instead of being analytical or narrow-minded, you have to use the input and output, based on the environment. Instead of being reserved and you don't consider feedbacks, please consider feedback. Okay. And then instead of artificial either or, so you can always hear in these conversations, we have the solution, either this or that. No, you have to think about multiple outcomes, because I have a course called solution seeking. Actually, people say problem solving. We say in the system thinking, solution seeking. Okay, because we are not solving problems, we are seeking solutions, as a matter of fact. Okay, so remember, how you think is how you are. Okay, these are the properties of the open systems. Actually, we have like 14 different properties, and all systems have a purpose. So you need, in your planning, you have to establish the purpose right of your organization. And as just a note, a little note, purpose is the reason, what we call in French, raison d'être, the reason for your existence. That when this reason goes, you go. Okay. For example, what is the purpose of the human being? Is to protect their lives. Okay. What is the purpose of organizations? I'll give you, like, a purpose is just simple 2 words. Okay. What is the purpose of any organization, whether it's profitable or non-profitable organization, or governmental, or whatever? You will be shocked.
Survival. Yeah.
Not survival. It will be, it is serving customer. These 2 words. Purpose is always 2 words. Okay, serving customers, serving clients, serving citizens. These are the purpose, because when citizens go, you go. When clients go, you go. You understand? So the purpose is a word that it's the reason of your existence. The real reason that has no effect in religion or race or anything. It's just universal principle. Okay, so the purpose, I repeat, the purpose of any organization is to serve customers, serve citizens, serve others. Okay, so it's not profitability. These are goals. Multiple goals. You see, systems have multiple goals, but they have only one purpose that keeps them alive. If this purpose goes, they go. That's it. So I just wanted to highlight this because this is very important. Systems, the open systems change naturally as well. So we think we always bring this iceberg theory to highlight, because it applies the how natural systems change. We always think only about the content. When we have a problem, we think about the tip of the iceberg. But the tip of the iceberg only has 13% of the whole picture. Everything lies down under the iceberg. The iceberg that caused drowning to Titanic was actually very strong from under. That's why it wasn't just a small tip above above the sea level like this one on the left down. So it was. So you see, the problem of the iceberg systems change naturally because you have to start with the culture and commitment at the bottom, and then you go and take care of the structures and frameworks, and then you go to the processes, okay, and change them to be able to achieve the proper content or the proper goal, whatever visible, okay. But remember, resources and competencies, they are needed more down, not up. You see, I am reminding you of this. 90% of strategic plans fail because people, they don't have this discipline of thinking. Okay. And that's why we have something we call content myopia. The disappearance of the content. The results are not clear. The results are not achieved because you are spending your effort on the content, on the top of the iceberg, not on the bottom of the iceberg, because it's difficult, it's invisible, so you ignore it. All right, like Jack Welch said, any jerk can have short-term earnings. You squeeze, and the company sinks 5 years later. You see, they always think about content. Okay, and also for the change cycle, all the change, when you start changing, then you have to go down. You have to bear a loss. Okay, loss is a given on that part of the roller coaster of change. And then when you are consistent and you keep, pushing towards the goal, then you can start going up and achieving your, this is also a natural cycle. These two theories, which is the roller coaster of change and the iceberg theory of change, they depict how systems change. So discipline in plan. Now we finish the discipline in thinking. We'll talk about discipline in planning. So what system of planning do you guys prefer? Like planning framework. Some people say they like, for example, the balance scorecard, the blue ocean strategy, whatever. Okay. So regardless, we will first differentiate between two terms: the planning versus management. Okay. So what is there any difference between planning and management? Yes. Okay. Of course there is, because planning and management, planning is the cycle and the management is the result. So the strategic management is the cycle that you transfer your planning into a yearly cycle for execution. Okay. So I think we're running out of time. I just want to go, Mr. Kader. Give me the time.
Another 5 minutes you have. So if you would like to,
Yeah.
they have some
Okay.
questions. Yeah.
All right. So let me just show you this actually the system thinking approach for implementing strategic management. Okay. So it's the same steps, the 5 steps of system thinking, but it has the customer value. It has from the beginning, and then it has all the steps that you need to reach. Okay. So you have all the processes and everything. So remember, we have the smart start. The smart start here and here. So before you start planning, you have a smart start where you prepare for planning, and before you start executing, after you create your strategy, vision, mission, core values, whatever, then you have to have a smart start to implement. And this is where you stop for a while and you think about the first and foremost project, which is the organizational design. Okay. This is the first step in the transformation. I just want to talk to you very quickly about that. So you have to design the bus. As Jim Collins said, it's better to first get the right people to the bus. Okay, wrong people off the bus and the right people in the right seat, and then figure out where to drive. See? So now organizations are not walls and desks and whatever. Organizations are people. If people fail, organizations fail. And leaders fail. So you have to design the bus that you will take people with. The smart start always start from, this is what I do as a consultant. This is what I do when I finish with organizations and we go to the next step of execution. We do these actions. First, establish and enforce the SMO, the Strategic Management Office. Start the redesigning of the organization. Now, no organization after planning should be the same, with the same organizational structure, with the same people structure. You have to restructure the organization according to the strategy. You have to redo the operating processes according to the structure, the new structure. You have to install and activate the change plan. You have to have a very strong change management plan. And you have to have a 1-year operation for the organization based on the strategy. You have to have a performance management system like the system of Mr. Kader, the Fruit Strategies, the system of performance management. And then you have to prepare a general yearly budget. These are the most important things before you talk about implementing strategic plans. This is where we start. And this might take months, no problem. This is the smart start that you have to do. And we consider these things are initiatives that you have to put a pre-start to the execution. People overlooks this and they say, a strategic plan fails. You have to have a watertight integrity. organizations, when you restructure them, you have to divide them to strategic business units that are responsible for delivering the value, and main function areas that are serving actually the units, the strategic business units. All right. This is actually my circle that I put in the psychometric books for the high individual performance. It comes out of skills, abilities, traits. Look at this. For example, we hire people based on their CV. Their CV actually is their skills. It's only 1/4, and I consider it even 10% of the capability of a person to do the work. Imagine. So imagine how we think. We think only CVs. CVs, they create 5%, in my opinion, 5 to 10% ability of the person to achieve the goals. That's why uh, this organization in Florida, they followed up the Harvard and MIT graduates, and they established a fact saying 5% of those graduates can make it to be good managers. Imagine, they studied in Harvard and MIT. Anyway, we talk about competencies. Competencies, they are just the traits that you need to perform. The competencies are the traits defined in terms of behaviors needed for successful job performance. And what I mean to say, that if you want your people to be successful, you have to establish their competencies. Think about competencies like a film. Clint Eastwood, for example, the scenarist brings the text to Clint Eastwood, and then he started to think who's going to be good for that role, who's going to be good for that role, and they teach the actors how to behave, to be able to be successful in their roles. Imagine. So strategies for people, you need to establish very clear competency frameworks, and you need to establish very clear behavior and attitude for your employees. You don't rely on people. Okay, if they are not good, then you can teach them. If they are not good after teaching them, then you can take them out and bring somebody else. But you have to use this competency, which is the behavioral science in the organization. This is how you change the culture of the organization. It controls the structuring, the job description, the selection and handling, the career development, the performance and feedback, the training and development, the compensation and benefits. This will control the whole organization, the whole people. You see, the competencies, they have behavioral competencies, they are core, leadership, job family, and so on and so forth. Layers of the organization. So every job of the organization will have a competency profile containing of the core competencies, the job family, the technical, the leadership competencies. We create the competency dictionary for the organization, and then we create a competency profile for every job that has all the competencies, the behavioral guideline of these jobs. And for example, we'll go for this competency, client focus, then we establish levels of this behavior and distribute it. You see, distribute it to the jobs in the structure, in the new structure of the organization, and we decide which level of this behavior should be. You see, look, for example, we are talking about behavior here. Level 1, response to immediate client needs. Respond to client needs in a timely, professional. So when you do the performance management, you manage these behaviors. You ask employees, laugh, stand up, turn around, don't talk like this, talk like this. You have to control the behavior of employees inside the organization. That is coming actually and integrated from strategy, from the core values that you have in the strategy, from your mission, from your vision. Programmer analyst, we talk about this as an example. So we talk about core competencies, like 4 competencies here, and then we talk about job based, and then we talk about job specific. So as practice said, you have to have maximum 12 competencies because people cannot handle more than that. Okay, so for example, this we have like 11, right? So we establish the job competencies for every employee, we measure, we give feedback, we give them training based on this, and this is how we can change the culture of the organization. All right. So the research indicated that 63 in turnover increase in employee satisfaction due to greater clarity about the performance expectations. Wherever you go, 19% improvement of employee performance, 12.5% increase in sales and profits, 600% increase in overall business impact because of this behavioral control, and 640% improvement in their leadership bench strength, 480% improvement in leader engagement and retention. Okay, 26% higher in revenue per employee, 28% higher, less likely to downsize during whatever, and so on and so forth. These are the impact. Look at this: 144% greater ability to plan for future workforce needs, 156% greater ability to develop great leaders using this kind of discipline in the organization. So competencies, they control the performance of the organization instead of smart goals. You have to do competency-based performance management. Okay, I'm talking about employees. This should be part of the HR thing. So we have to do the 360 organization performance management. Some of the best, or great business, high performance, customer value. So here you translate your strategic components like core values, mission, vision into these competencies, and you enforce it into the organization. So you determine what and how people can accomplish these things. I will go to the last slide actually. So this is just the implementation. So in summary, we talk about the effective competency system are based on critical need for or driver for change, which is the company's vision or the enterprise vision and mission. Clearly communicate expectations to employees, easy to use tools, facilitate managers, have a senior management support, walk the talk, provide means for aggregating the information. This is the best competency-based system, management-based system, to make employees really, really effective and participating in the success. And always remember that people support what they help create. Always remember this word. People support what they help create. And my question now to you, after you answered, yes, all strategic plan fails. My question to you is, do strategic plans fail, or do we fail them? We fail them. Okay. Yes, we fail our strategic plans, not the strategic plan fails. We shouldn't look for problems outside ourselves. Strategic plans, they don't fail because they are objects. You create them and you fail them. They don't fail by themselves. So we need to stop talking about these things. These are some references. If this presentation is shared for you to read, whatever, these are the base of my presentation. And thank you very much for listening. I'm sorry for just jumping some slides because I was trying to establish the logic here. And if there's any question that I can answer, I can answer. If there is no, I hope you guys enjoyed the ride with me. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Hussam. Thank you. It's a completely different perspective, how to look at the strategy. Systems thinking, that is something which I open up, and competencies, the people. Okay, so you really bring a different dimension to the strategy execution. Okay, it's a really a great presentation. So we just run out of time. Any questions, we'll just pass it to you for answer. But just before closing, I would like to have one question, which is very important.
Yes.
So,
yes.
In almost all the strategy transformations, so there will be very difficult people, okay, so who resist change. So how to deal with them based on your experience? Yeah. So one last question for you.
Okay. Look, first we have to deal with in creating. This is a very important question, by the way, Kader. Huh? In creating the strategy, as I told you, remember this word always and repeat it. People support what they help create. So the participative planning it's very important to reduce the resistance, because resistance has two types of people. One, the deniers. Okay, the deniers, they are there whether you like it or you don't like it, because they have special interests in them. And the other one, the other type of resistance, which is the majority of resistance, actually like 60% of the resistance or 70%, they are suspicious about the results. These will be your best friends. Don't ever, downgrade them or look at them in a bad eye. But first you have to do participation planning. So you have to involve everyone from different types of the organization, different levels of organization, and this is what we do in our strategic planning workshops. We involve people. I involve almost like 20 to 30% of the people in the organizations. Okay, it's throughout series of workshops. So we reduce the resistance using this. Then when we reach actually the execution, then in the smart start, we prepare a change plan, change management plan. This change management plan will involve a lot of talks, a lot of people, a lot of, direct contact from between the change movers and those people. And we will learn, we will assure them, we will make them feel better. We will communicate with them, okay? And the last thing that I can talk about resistance, when we exhaust all these solutions, we reach to the point that we have to shift resistance, not remove resistance. Okay, the word shift is a lever that we use in the tipping point framework structure. Shifting means that, because if you kick out people who resist you in the beginning, you will have your fingers pointing on you, that you are a dictator and you don't care about people and so on and so forth, and this might reflect a bad effect on the employees. So that's why we use the word shift. Shifting resistance means shifting, either you shift those guys who resist to locations and the organization that they don't have too much impact. Okay, so you are trying to hide them. Okay, this is what we call shift. Okay. And if you fail, you can shift them to somewhere else far away from the organization, or you can shift them outside the organization as a last mile. So we're talking about shifting organization, but you see, it's not only one solution. You have to start from the beginning. Participative planning, talking, and the smart start before execution. Also, you have to create change management plan. Throughout the planning sessions, you have to create a publicity team or communication team who will talk to people about this, the benefits, whatever, distribute flyers, talk to people about it. So you're trying to reduce this until you reach to the execution. Perfect. And before that, perfect, you create your change management plan.
Perfect.
That's my
perfect. Yes. Dr. Hussam, very important. This last point, you really made a very nice point. Definitely. So thank you, Dr. Hussam, for your fantastic presentation and insights. So
thank you very much. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Kader.
Okay, so we'll pass the questions to you for answering.